Warning. This podcast is about the horror genre, specifically horror films. As most horror movies are filled with coarse language, violence, and/or gore, the topics and language of the cast of the pod will also reflect the genre. If you have any issues with the aforementioned warnings, please press stop. But if you have no issue with adult language, movie violence, or the accoutrement that accompanies horror films, please feel free to continue. You have been warned.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cast of the Pod, the podcast where we discuss not only the nostalgia of, because some of these movies we haven't seen, so we can't get into this nostalgia of it, but the feelings. It's a discussion. It's not necessarily a straight up review. It's just what comes from these movies that we've seen and what's going on. And I hear my dog in the background.
She was quiet the whole time.
Perfect for this movie. Today we're talking about Bad Moon. And I didn't even introduce everybody. Starting with the other side of the Zoom there. Who do we have?
Cobweb.
And Deb.
And me, Josh. And man, Cobb, you came up with this movie. How'd you come up with seeing this movie?
Well, okay, you sent me like a link of like crazy movies or something like that, or I was looked it up or something. I'd be doing these link things.
Yeah, both of us have like a long list of movies we threw out in there. Right.
And I think this was like on Shudder, like the scariest movies on Shudder list or something. And I think it was like number 49.
Huh.
And I said Bad Moon. I was like, okay. And it's in the 90s too? Or was it our early 2000s or something?
1996.
I was going to say 96.
96? Yeah. I could go for a good werewolf movie every now and then.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just pulled it out and I was just like, let's give it a heck of a try. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like a catchy little thing, but...
So if anybody wants to watch it, this is a movie you can see on Peacock. It's free with commercials, if you got commercials, or if you got the little $5 one, you just watch like 3 commercials at the beginning and then you can see the whole movie.
That's what we did.
Yeah, that's what we ended up seeing, and then we saw SummerSlam. We won't get into SummerSlam here on Cast of the Pod, though. You know what? There goes the dog again. No,
it knows about this movie.
Oh man. You can see on the bottom, for those watching on the YouTube version of this, on the bottom right hand corner, you can see all our social medias. Castofthepod.com for all our links. Cast of the Pod for all social medias. Deb, what's yours? Your
my Deb Mrs. OMG.
Deb Mrs. OMG. I'm Old Married Gamer, and Cobweb, you're Cobweb 411. Yep. So that's scrolling on the bottom. We'll throw all that out there now. Get the business done before we get into the movie, because it's sounding like you and I have two different, and me and Deb are pretty much on the same page, but it sounds like me and you might have a different opinion. I got notes. I don't know if you can see it there.
Notes about this?
I took notes about this movie.
He's like, here, you want a tablet? I was like, no, I got my phone.
2 pages. 2 pages today. Man, this dog ain't made noise all day.
Oh man, break these notes out. Break it out. Let's get into this, because Deb's already going. I can tell it. She already over here. Once she started laughing, it's all.
Yes.
So, yes.
I have my notes here too.
You took notes too?
Yeah, but on my phone.
I feel like I didn't do my homework. Everybody's got notes except for me.
No worries. Let's read the IMDb stuff real quick. So this is a 1996 movie entitled Bad Moon, directed by Eric Red. Writers are Wayne Smith, who wrote the novel Thor. It's more about the dog in the novel, and also the screenplay writers Eric Red. Stars Mariel Hemingway, who I remember as a kid, I thought she was beautiful. And when we were watching it this time, I was like, what happened to her head? Like, why she look like that? I don't know if it was CERN or something, but I remember as a kid she was beautiful, and now it's just like, no offense, she is what she is.
Josh, you ain't got you can tell you from the 80s, man, because you got no shame. You don't care about body shaming not one bit. He's still gonna pick on you like you ain't nothing back in the day.
I'm not saying she's not whatever. I'm just saying in my memory, in my mind's eye, I knew Mariel Hemingway, and like I said, CERN changed her or zapped my memory or something like that.
Yeah, it is.
Because I had to pause it, and I'm like, why is her head shaped like that? My bad.
There was a couple things that made us stop the movie, and we're like, whoa, who is that?
Yeah. Oh, it also stars Michael Pare and Mason Gamble. The synopsis, the storyline is one man's...
And Primo.
What? Who? Primo who?
Primo. That's Thor.
Yes, the main actor, the best actor
in this
movie is Thor. Primo. Sorry, thanks for reminding me that. So the storyline is one man's struggle to contain the curse hides within. His last-ditch attempt to free himself with the love of family. But when it looks as he's losing his battle and endangering all that he holds dear, the family dog Thor is the last hope for his family's survival and to end his werewolf curse.
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to go into it first, Cobb?
Oh, man. Let me tell you something right now. Okay. This movie, I got you. This movie it broke all kind of like concept of like werewolves, of understanding them.
Mm-hmm.
Because this dude was kind of like, he wasn't a good werewolf person.
He wasn't a good person.
Right. He wasn't a good werewolf person because he was a werewolf, but he gonna go stay with his sister and their kid, thinking that it's going to help stop the curse of the werewolf of being around family. Where have you ever heard that in any book, any movie talking about werewolves being around family is going to help stop it?
Let's get there first. Let's start at the very beginning. There's a couple of things that Deborah wanted to talk about. This movie looked very like an after-school special.
It did, and then how it reminded me of Twilight and like a whole bunch of movies like at that time when they show like the beginning,
the helicopter shot over the woods. Just, the stock footage through the trees. And Deborah's like, it's just like Twilight. I'm like, it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. I'll tell you that right now.
I was like, well, Twilight has werewolves in it.
So it's also one of those movies where you can tell they're on a set. They're in a sound stage somewhere, and then they just put a whole bunch of plants together, and now they're in the jungle.
Right.
And I was kind of tripping out because why were they in the jungle? Him and the girl. And it's one of those horror movies back in the day where they have to show one titty, just one at one time. They show both, but just one this time, and then the next shot, the other one. But getting to that, how cheesy was that line? He's like, "We're gonna go to the Amazon on the." I wrote it down. What
did he say?
He's like, "We're going to the Amazon in January, and somewhere else in February," and she's like, "And we're going to bed in 5 minutes."
I like their soundproof tent that they had.
Yeah, their soundproof tent where all the crew
could hear them, but they couldn't hear the crew.
Right. They were getting busy up in that tent. They were doing a lot of stuff moving around for that tent that wasn't that big, really, but it for a minute I thought it was like a whole room.
See, but my favorite
soundproof.
My favorite part was it's soundproof in one direction. It's because there's like 10 locals that they have with them as the crew, doing whatever they're doing in the jungles. I don't know if they were digging for gold, if they were looking for the Raiders of the Lost Ark, or what it was.
They never said, right?
So, but 5 minutes later, they're going at it, right? And everybody's just sitting around the fire looking at each other like,
they're all laughing.
Oh. And then you hear the werewolf. Everybody runs. Everybody's screaming. That one guy that went after the gun got his head tore off.
Yep.
All I know is that when two horses escape from their tie-out and run away, you should be running right after them.
Yeah,
exactly.
And not
That's
waiting.
The sign. That's the sign. Everybody knows that in the jungle.
So everybody's screaming and all that, and then the tent that you see the shadow. This was the great part. So they're going at it, looking at each other face to face, like they're sitting up together, and they're like 1.5 feet apart as they're moving up and down and all that. Then in the next scene, he's on the bottom and she's up on top, and that's when the shirt opens to the right side, because it was open on the left side. Now it's open on the right side, right? And you see the shadow of the wolf behind her. Right. Through this adamantium tent, the soundproof tent, right? And he does this face, like you need to go back, Cobb. I don't know if you noticed it, but he does this face where he's like, "Ooh."
Ooh. He did.
He didn't say, "What the hell is that? Wait, what is that?" Or "Oh my God!" Or "Run!" Or "Duck." He just, "Oh," and she's just like, "Yeah, yeah." And then they grab her. And it pulls her straight out the tent. Now, on the notes on IMDb, the director said that she was in like a hydraulic harness to pull her out that way. And he promised that there would be no frontal nudity. Then he admitted that he lied.
Yes, he did lie. He lied completely. What
kind of world is it where he's like, yeah, I told her we weren't going to show the business, but who cares? We did.
Right. She knew.
So how big was that tent? Because when the wolf stood over the tent, it looked like it was like Godzilla over a tent. And then
that's what I was saying.
When you see the wolf later, it's not that much taller than, it's taller than a human, but not that much.
Another thing, apparently the wolf doesn't like nudity. I know I'm sticking on this is the only nudity in the movie, so I'm going to stick with it for a while.
It was good nudity.
Everybody else got a swipe done. What does he do? He picks her up. He's got her like he's gonna do a belly to back suplex on her, right? And he slashes her across the face, then slashes her across the face again, tears into her neck, slashes her across the chest,
and spins her.
Slaps him.
Ragdolls her.
Yeah. Well, his name's Uncle Ted, right? The what's the name? Parade. The werewolf.
Right.
So smacks Ted, scratches him across his pectorals, right? And he climbs, gets the shotgun. I will say something. I love the way the wolf looked. I love practical wolf effects instead of CGI effects. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was kind of like, it had that eerie look to it, even though I knew that, the movie had that early 96, 98 appeal. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of that cheese ball style, that, made it a little bit more scary, It just seemed more real.
It wasn't like American Werewolf in London, nice looking, but it was okay. But he goes and gets a shotgun, shoots the werewolf in the neck, completely blows his head off. When do you ever see that in a movie? One shot, one kill.
On a werewolf? Never, like I said, this movie breaks all boundaries of what the principles of werewolf movies are.
Exactly.
I've never seen you being able to blow the head off a werewolf with a shotgun and with one blast. Okay, that just doesn't happen. And where'd he get the silver bullets?
They talk about that.
I was gonna just say that I didn't snap to it until you are saying that right now when he's telling his nephew later on, oh, I bet you could just shoot the head off and he'll die.
Yeah, later on, him and the nephew are talking. And the nephew's sitting down movie rules about werewolves, and he's like, no, full moons, nah, how about every night? And the kid's like, no, it only happens full moons. He's like, yeah. Next thing you know, you're gonna say you can't blow their head off with a shotgun.
And he's like,
but every night he turned into the werewolf, it was a full moon.
It was. But that's not.
Where the hell did
that was a lot of full moon.
Well, where did they live? That it was because they would show it. They would show
it. Full moon all the time.
Right.
No, so getting back to the story though. Man, that's how this movie is. Go ahead.
When he shoots the werewolf in the beginning and started laughing, I was like, and he's all like, because they just finished doing, well, they not even finished, but I said my first notes on here, I was like, he was all naked, he had dirt all in his butt crack.
Yes, they made a point of showing he had dirty butt crack.
I was like, oh.
Because they had like a bag, like, because that's what, going back to saying it was like a studio soundstage film, because you could tell they had like a bag of like potting soil that they just poured right there that he was gonna fall in, and he got up.
Yeah.
And he had like peat moss and all that on him. They just grabbed some ferns from the waiting room and just dumped them right there on the ground.
Right, special effects.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, if
Just
it
roll
works,
him
it
around
works.
a little bit, he'd be okay.
But I guess because Deborah was worried about me looking at the titty so much, she was looking at Pare's butt crack.
It was like a little bit for the guys, a little bit for the girls. Half and half.
There we go. I ain't hating. We love the lady. We do love the ladies on Cast of the Pod.
Yes. So what happens is then they show Mariel Hemingway, and you find out she's a lawyer. She's very tough. She's very smart, quick on her feet, because an encyclopedia salesman shows up with a regular sized briefcase for all his encyclopedias. That should have showed that something was going on. He had a, he could hold like 10 folders over there, but no, here's all my encyclopedias. And he sets off Thor, which is a 105-pound German Shepherd. And Thor tackles him. Oh, you bit me. And we learned a new word, Deborah. What was it?
Flopsy.
Flopsy. Apparently a flopsy is somebody who flops in front of your car or pretends that their dog bites you or something like that.
Yeah.
And
that's an old school. That's an old school saying right there.
I did not.
Because
know
that's
that.
true. People do that for a living.
Wow.
Yeah. Because did you see how he tried to how he poked a Thor? He put his hand up like this. He just like made like a quick claw at him. You know what I'm saying? As like a show of dominance to try to aggravate him.
Yep. I wanted to know. He grabbed his suitcase and he has it on the top like this. After he was doing the swipes at it and all that, and he went like the way he clicked it. That was what finally set him off.
Yeah.
Like, why would that set him off though?
Because he was an asshole. Thor knew he was an asshole.
Oh.
Yeah, he was. He was no good. He smelled the snake. Thor knew what was up. Remember,
Thor was a good boy.
Thor's the hero. Hey, he's the hero of the story.
Yes. Yes. He's the hero of the movie, the story, the best acting.
In life.
Yes. Yes. Do you know there were 3 Thors?
3.
Yeah, there were 3 Thors in the movie.
They had him called. His name was Primo in the credits.
They're in the notes for IMDb. They talk about the 2. They had one that wasn't even a trained dog. They just trained him enough. The main one that you see. Yeah, and then they had one to do the sit and the stand. But the one you see the most, I guess it would be Primo. They had just got it and started using it. Can you imagine if he would have went off and bit somebody's hand off or something?
Wow.
Man.
Like, what if that would have really set him off? What that guy was doing.
Yeah, right. And he's gonna sit there and hold his chest like, oh, he bit me. He bit you on your chest. Come on, man. On some of that bullshit.
You have a dangerous
I'm glad
dog.
she cut his ass up.
So after she runs off Flopsy, and he's gonna come back and get it later on, because it was that type of movie where they have to set up the guy that's got to get it.
Yeah. The annoying guy that you just want, like, oh, I hope Thor does something to him.
Yeah, but Flopsy, I mean, he deserved that what he got to him. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of bogus because she dissed on him. He gonna come back with a machete.
The big meat cleaver that was like 2 inches thick, like they made it out of paper mache or something. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna come back and kill your dog. What a freaking asshole.
Yep.
So
I was mad.
So this is
Me too.
There's a couple parts of this movie that exactly like you were starting with. So he calls up and he's in a trailer. They're in like, where are they? In Portland or something like that? Somewhere out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's out
In Seattle.
He's out in the trailer, living by a river, just in the middle of the forest, and he has great cell service back then in 1996 with that Nextel phone that he had. And he calls up his sister, hey, come out here, let's hang out, blah, 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 blah. So what does she do? She drives out there in her Ford Explorer. And
Thor's sitting in the front seat.
And the kids in the back seat.
And the kids in the back seat.
Well, it's safer in the back seat, Deb.
Yeah, but I just got a kick out of it.
Thor, he was like he was driving the car.
He probably could have.
I mean, he jumped out the car when he got there before the car even stopped all the way. Thor was just like, "What's up? We here."
What if they just left him there because he didn't want to get in the back, so he was like growling at everybody?
Because he wasn't trained.
They're like, just leave him there. He's fine. It's just a second.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So as brother and sister are talking, little nephew goes in there, and Brent, his name's Brent. He goes into the trailer, starts digging through Uncle Ted's stuff, finds a werewolf book, he finds a microscope, and he looks in the microscope and he's like, wow, there's no slide on the microscope. There's nothing.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the whole idea of there was a microscope there and you could see?
Yeah.
Like this dude actually knows something about microscopes, what to be looking for.
Well,
all of a sudden he's a scientist.
Yes, out of nowhere.
Right.
Well, it shows you what kind of scientist he is, because we'll jump to later on in the movie. Because he explains after he gets busted, after everybody finds out that he's a werewolf and all that, after his sister finds out he's a werewolf, he says, I had tried everything that I could. What's the word I'm looking for? I exhausted all my options. The only thing I could think of next was the power of love. The love of my family to cure this disease. Get the
When he
fuck
said that,
out.
I thought like the Chris Adams song.
Boy,
was
Josh, say it.
What?
How did that make you feel?
Oh, you just need to get the fuck out of here, man. The power of love to cure it.
I
Man.
thought they were gonna cue the song right there, the Karate
Y'all,
Kid song.
I told you. What did I say? It breaks all the boundaries of werewolf movies. I've never heard anybody ever say in a werewolf movie, the power of love will, stop you.
The power of love doesn't do anything for the power of love doesn't do anything for high blood pressure, diabetes. How the hell is it going to take care of damn werewolfism?
You forgot one thing, Josh.
What?
We forgot, like after the Flopsy left and everything, and they showed how Thor was taking care of the family.
Yeah.
Right. Thor went to the mom's room, barked at her, and she said goodnight. He looked at her, went to the boy's room, gave him a kiss.
He sure
covered
did.
covered him with the blanket, made sure he was tucked in, went and checked the windows, and then he went downstairs and he watched the door.
Freaking Thor, man.
So he was like he's the man of the house. He's taking care of it.
Yeah. Thor was the real deal, man. I told you, I said, as soon as I saw this, I said, this is the star of this movie. This dog is the star of this movie, hands down. He made this movie. This movie could not have been done without Thor.
I agree.
I do too.
So as Thor tucks everybody into bed, right? Then they cut back out to where Uncle Ted's at. And there's some guy walking through the forest with his safety vest on and his hard hat on, and he's got a tape measure, and he's measuring the circumference of trees for
At
no
like
apparent
10
reason.
o'clock at night.
No, like at midnight o'clock at night, full moon rising. He's not even writing shit down. He's just like, yep, that's a tree. Let me go to another one. Yep, that's a tree. And then he hears the howls going on, and he's like, interesting. Yep, that's a tree. Next thing you know,
I mean, there's other stuff beside werewolves in these woods. There's mountain lions, bears. There's some really crazy stuff out there, man.
yeah.
You don't do that junk at night.
Well, maybe he could see the trees better at nighttime.
Well, see, this is
because the moon was full, so there's a lot bright light from the moon.
no. This happened because it cements. I know here at Cast of the Pod, we've had some movies. I've gotten some people write in and ask why we did JD's Revenge, because how is it horror that it wasn't a horror movie? And it's like, yes, there was a possession. There was literally a possession in the movie.
Yep.
That's a horror movie. But I know we did Sadness and we did Conjuring, those big heavy hitters. But there's so much to horror.
Yes.
You can't have the sadness all the time. Sadness actually kind of went from horror into like gore.
Yeah.
It's different. But this is a horror movie.
Horribly gory.
But this is a horror movie in the way that, like, here's one of the tropes. You know, what happens in the 80s and 90s horror movies? Oh, what's that sound? Let me go down in the basement and find out. Without a gun, without a bat, I'm just going to go walk down there in my shoes. And
Yep.
so
Breaking all the movie lore.
yes.
Breaking it all.
So this tree measurer guy helps secure that it's a horror movie right there.
Yeah.
Then they show the next morning and there's just torn up clothes covered in meat hanging in the trees. And his helmet's up in the trees.
Thor finds it, right? Is it
Yeah.
Thor?
Yeah, when they go back and he's looking up at it, just meaty clothes. Can't even tell it's a person.
Thor knew what was up back then.
Yep.
Then I'm betting that's tree measurer guy.
Why'd he have the body up in the trees? Because he was saving the food for later,
Yeah.
in case he got hungry.
So then they go
And
back
Deb,
home.
you can't say, oh, he was out there doing that junk in a full moon. Because every night's a full moon in this movie.
Yep.
So in this universe, there are full moons are every night.
Every
Yeah.
night. Man, I wonder what the tide's like.
At first, I was thinking, well, maybe it wasn't every night. Maybe they were just showing it, and it's like a couple of days, you know.
No, it's every night, full moon.
But he tells the nephew, well, what about them coming out every night instead of just on the full moon?
I don't know why, but in my notes I have acting acting.
See, this movie made you write stuff.
So anyways, then he's on the phone and he's like crying. He's got this bad acting cry look on his face. He's like, hey, and then the way he talks, they don't sound anything alike. Like they didn't grow up in the same place, because she's very straight-laced and meeting's gonna end in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Leave me alone, Zoom. So, she's all like, pinched nose and whatever. And then he's all like, hey, yo, sis, some kind of like East Coast accent. And remember when you said that I could go over there? Maybe we should spend some time together. You know what I'm saying? And while he's trying to cry. And then they show, while he's standing at the front door of his trailer, that there's like 40 cops there taping off a crime scene. Nobody's looking in his trailer. Nobody's looking at the picture that he has, because later on they find pictures of old girl torn up, and he's just got Polaroids.
Yup. Yeah. Yeah.
You would think that they wouldn't let him leave because his trailer was like in the middle.
Literally in the middle of the crime
scene.
Of the crime scene, and nobody went to go check him out or anything else like that. Because they figured it was a wolf that did it, an animal. Why would this guy have anything to do with it? Because it was an animal done by an animal. There would be no reason to check his home out. There would be no probable cause.
They probably told him that he needed to leave.
You know what though?
Yes.
One time, Deb,
What?
I just thought of this right now. Many, many years ago, Cobweb, we were out on the beach. We spent the night out on a beach.
Yeah, I remember.
And we drove down to this one area, right? And there was a Winnebago type out on the beach, right? And they were partying and loud noises and all that. So it was me, Deb, and then two of our friends. And we're like, you know what? We want to stay away from the trouble. So we went further down the beach, right? We were out there. And like dumbasses, we were swimming out in the ocean at night.
At midnight.
Yeah. No. But anyways,
the full moon.
Needless to say, next day we wake up to hearing all the police and fire and all that, right? Somebody burnt down the Winnebago and 2 people died
In there.
inside of it.
Whoa.
And we told them, hey, yeah, we were out there, loud noise and blah blah blah. They're like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, just go along with your way.
Nothing you see here.
Yeah, the same exact thing, Deb, that we were just talking right now. So yeah, maybe they did let him go.
Yeah, they're like, you need to move your trailer out of here. You're in the middle of a crime scene.
So, but
Exactly. He had no reason. They had no reason to think that he would have been a part of that mutilated carcass out there in the woods.
But what if he was holding a bear inside the trailer? They would have never known.
So
they would have heard the bear.
He could have trained it from when he was a baby.
You're saying that he would have had like a Russian dancing or Russian wrestling bear?
Yeah. And he had, like,
inside the trailer.
one of his beds, and he slept in the bed. I mean, come on, Thor tucked the kid to sleep.
And then he came out.
It's possible.
Then he came out with the way he talks to his sisters. Hey, yo, bear, just stay quiet over there. They're not gonna notice nothing. All right, just stay there, bear. Okay.
He put him in the restroom and locked the door. That way, if they would have came in, they wouldn't have seen it because it's only one thing. So
the sister, what was her name? I didn't write her name down. I just could think of the weird shape of Mariel Hemingway's head. That I completely lost her name. So I'll just call it.
Ooh. You know, she was in her character. She was useless.
That's what I wrote down. Acting. Thank you for reminding me, because I was gonna write down her acting, and then it was like acting. Was that acting?
That was what you were talking about.
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about. But so I wrote this down and I put it in quotes and then double circled it. She tells him, "Hey, come over, set your trailer up in my backyard." Her backyard, which is like 50 acres. And then he puts the trailer on the hardest part, raised up higher than the house.
On the rocks.
Up on rocks. Like, how did he get it up there? But she says, "You'll be right next door to me, just like when we were kids."
You know, like, you know, when they used to sleep, you know, in the house and, you know, maybe they were next door, but it made no sense. What was he pulling that trailer in?
Yeah.
You just saw the trailer there. You never saw his car or his van that he was pulling it in. It just showed up. I mean, that was a heavy ass trailer.
And then to get it up on the rocks and all that.
Yeah, that trailer was freaky. He was with one of them big aluminum trailers.
And then what does the hero of the movie do as soon as he sees the trailer?
He
takes a piss on it.
Walks up right up to it, lifts the legs.
It's on my territory.
Yes, this is my house.
He knew right then, homeboy, this is my spot.
He said, I tuck the kid in. You don't tuck him in.
That's right. This is my domain. Thor was on it, boy.
I don't know. Do you think I'm tearing too far into the movie, or as we're still learning and evolving at Cast of the Pod? What do you think about this style right here? How we're doing it?
Man, let me tell you something. This dude, I love it. Because it's so much to digest about this movie. You know, Josh, when I sent this movie to you and you came back to me and you said that, you know, you just had this vibe to you, you know, that you were it pissed you off.
We started watching this movie in the car. We were waiting for some Chinese food. We ordered it on the phone, drove up, went through the drive-thru. We were still waiting on it, so I put the phone up on the dash, started watching it, and we got like 5-6 minutes into the movie. It's like, all right, so yeah, that's where the vibe came from. I was hungry.
Okay. So that explains a lot.
Yes.
See, because let me tell you, this movie. Let me just break this down. It's because we keep going around and around with this movie. This movie really pissed me the hell off.
I know why too.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It was the fact that, you know, that whole thing with the brother and him sitting up there, how he got got Thor kicked out of the house and shit. That just ticked me off. And she fell for it.
She did.
I really liked how cheeseball this movie was, to be honest.
You know, that was the stupidest thing too, right? She's talking about the guy was found on when the guy was killed, the salesman. What was he called again?
Flopsy.
The Flopsy was found down the road, you know, bit up or something else like that. Now, when she heard Thor was like near the house.
Yeah.
And she heard him getting into something. So how would she relate that happened down the road to what happened in her yard?
But she was still having doubts.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. I can tell you and Deb are both, and I am as well, but maybe not as much as you and Deb, animal enthusiasts. And it might be clouding y'all's judgment a little bit about what happened. But let's go back to, because we're going to have to take a break in a second. But so Flopsy shows up. He's like, I'm going to kill your dog. We haven't even pointed out that every night Ted goes out and chains himself to a tree, butt naked. with some sex handcuffs that his sister was like, "Oh, it's going to be interesting having you around here."
What?
Yes.
That's gross. And so
I don't
if that
even
was
think they
my
might have
brother,
been really
I would be
related.
like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't want to
I
know.
don't
Keep that
wanna
shit out my house.
You leave
Right.
it in your trailer.
Well, that's why they live next door to each other in different houses, because there was something going on that maybe shouldn't have been going on. So he
Yeah.
turns into the wolf, right? And Flopsy's there with his steak and his meat cleaver, and he smacks him with that wolf hand and cuts him across the throat and knocks his pinky off. I didn't notice if you noticed that the effect of that was something else.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Because I mean, there was a lot of great stuff about this movie, and they went from the great effects like that to the worst thing they could have did. They showed the CGI transformation of him from human to wolf,
Yes, I didn't like that.
and it was so bad.
It was bad. It was pretty cheesy. I mean, that's your whole thing in the movie. Whenever you have a werewolf movie, there's one thing you have to nail. Every single time, the transformation to the werewolf.
Yep.
If you can't get that right, you're done.
They could have just left him off screen. That's it.
They could have just maybe like keep showing her reaction, and then just hearing him talk, and then when he finished transforming, and then go back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
But it was
I like that.
It was the worst morphic. Like, I remember back in the day when they would sell morph software at Walmart for like $4, and you could morph your pictures and it would just kind of melt.
That's
And
what it looked
Oh.
like.
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, how his mouth opened all up, all goofy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was really stupid.
then after what happens, Sheriff Eyebrows shows up. I don't know what his name was,
Sheriff
but he had some caterpillar eyebrows, man. They just I know you're not supposed to say stuff like that, but we already
There you
talked
go
about
again, body shaming again.
It's not shame. He had just like she had a unique baseball plate shaped head. He had very interesting eyebrows, unique
Yeah,
eyebrows.
they were a little bit on the bushy side. They were. He
So
could
he-
use some good,
Yeah,
you know.
So sister finds Thor all bloody and scratched up because he gets into it with the werewolf after
Round one.
And so she's like, "What happened to you? You know, you got into a fight, blah 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 blah."
Oh, no.
So then Sheriff Eyebrows shows up, and he's like, "You know that guy you warned me about? Is this him?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's him. Well, we found him down the road. Apparently, he had been attacked by an animal or something. And how much did you say your dog weighs?" She's like, "He's 105 pounds." Man, that one swipe that the werewolf
Right.
did.
Thor couldn't do that, right?
No.
I mean,
Come on, man. Where's their, you know what? There they go again. Insult your intelligence. Because there ain't no way in the world you're going to sit there, he's going to say that the wolf did it, possibly did, Thor did it. Okay, one, if Thor did possibly do, you need to look into it like for real.
Yeah.
Okay. And two, you can't be sitting up there just like, he clawed the whole thing up. Why would he even say that?
Like if he would have said he bit his throat, he bled him out, he chewed him up, he mauled him, whatever. Yeah. But I mean, there was broken bones. Stuff was just gone. Just
Right.
the deep scars. I mean,
Well, the same thing. That's what he said about the killings over there, where the brother that lived with the girls. And he said there was no way that humans can do that. It all had to be like a bear or something.
a bear or something.
And
Right.
if it's the same thing as it happened to this one, why is that not a bear?
See-
Why does it have to be Thor?
See, but here it goes again. He says, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that this guy got eaten to death. I'm just letting you know that once a dog gets a taste for human blood, he's still gonna want it. So you're probably gonna have to put that dog down.
Right. What is that? What is that? What is that? Either he did or he didn't. Stop hating on my man.
I
So,
was like, no, Thor is a good boy.
so I wanted to
Yes,
ask
he
you.
is.
There were some besides the werewolf melt. there was another CGI in it. And whenever Uncle Ted would look at Thor kind of glitched. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
we didn't know if it was our streaming.
Yeah, we didn't know if it was our signal at first.
We were like, wait, what was that?
He would twitch. I didn't notice anything.
Yeah, there was like a graphic, like he would glitch.
I don't know. I never paid attention to that. I didn't notice.
It happened.
It happened a lot of times.
It happened a lot of times, but the first time we noticed it was he was coming out. He was gonna go running. And
I know what you're talking about now.
And he came out of his trailer, and Thor was sitting there just watching him, and then it looked like he was looking at Thor, and then Thor kind of like glitched.
They tried to show with the acting of Uncle Ted that he was getting progressively worse and worse and worse. And he went from being like this perfect uncle to 30 minutes later, he was just an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Like, it wasn't a slow turn or anything like that. They didn't show him sweating about it or whatever. You know, it's just him and Thor were fighting against each other for position. Not literally fighting in front of the sister, because they were like, you know, we can't act up in front of her. But the part that pissed me off the most, Thor gets tired of his shit and bites Ted on the arm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even though it pains her to do so, mom, sister, cousin, whatever. After the handcuffs thing, I don't know how she's related to him.
But wait. Here's the killer part. That was after she saw the freaking pictures
of the mauling. After
she saw the
brother,
pictures
his
first.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right. And then she started, and then the whole thing with Ted. And he was like, look at his arm. You can see the cuffs, the bandages on his wrist for him tying himself up with them freaking handcuffs to the tree every night.
Not only did he have pictures of this dead woman, she was like, we'll call her Jane. Where's Jane at? And he's like, oh, she's in Ohio, or she's in.
She left me.
Yeah. Yeah, not that. What makes it even worse.
Straight up lied to her in her face.
And she knew that he had bloody chopped up pictures of her. Yeah,
hello.
How odd.
How odd is my brother going to have chopped up pictures of his ex-girlfriend?
And then lie to me about it.
So now we get to the part that apparently
Wait a second,
everyone.
Deb, do you think he would have asked who's going to tell the truth on that?
Thor.
She looked at the camera all serious. Thor? What kind of fucking question is that, Cobweb? Thor! Dude, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a Cast of the Pod t-shirt, and it's gonna be Thor for president.
Yes, I will wear that.
What would Thor do?
Yes!
This is the real Thor.
Yes. Right. Oh, man. Oh, shit. So this, of all the things that Ted could do, this is what made him. He's hiding the death of his girlfriend. He's hiding from his family that he's a werewolf, that he could possibly kill them and all that. He's hiding everything. But this was the thing that cemented it in my mind that this guy was a piece of shit. After Mariel Hemingway, I gotta find out what her name is, calls animal control, says this dog attacked my brother. He probably killed this salesman and all that. She does a responsible pet owner thing, and
she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make the hard call.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
No.
First of all, the Flopsy, Thor was protecting his family.
No. There's nothing wrong about that. It's okay for him to protect.
He was protecting his family. His family. The family that he tucked in at night. Every night. Kissed him good night. Opened the door. He opened the door to the mom's room to make sure she was okay. Went to the kids' room, tucked them in.
Set the automatic coffee pot every night so she could wake up and go to lawyer work.
She went to go take
read
a
him
bath.
a good night story. He had a whole shelf of books. He read it to him.
So this is, let me get to the
No, he
animal
was-
control comes out,
he was
puts him in
protecting his
those dog things with the loop on the end and the pipes, and it's taking two of them to drag him back. Here comes out Brent, and he's like, no. She's holding him back. She's like, we gotta let him go, and it's sad.
No.
It's really sad, and it's really emotionally draining in
cried.
this scene because animal control's taking him away. And
he knew he didn't do nothing wrong. He knew he didn't do. He was a good pup.
And then she put him in the washroom, and so he's like, "Okay, I'm calming down. I got a little over."
No, this is
like, okay.
now we're
Wait,
on the
did you
part
see-
where they're taking him away.
No, she put him in the washroom so he can calm down, and he's like, "Okay, I overprotected. I'm fine now."
Exactly
and then
right.
she
But you saw
opens
what
the
he
door, and he's like, "Oh, my family's back." And then what do? They tie him up and take him.
Ugh.
What are you trying to say, Cobb? What are you trying to say?
Oh, remember what he did to set Thor off?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
The freaking wink. That was like something that your dog would do. You ever seen your dog or something? They give you like the wink. You know what I'm saying? Like the little dog wink or something like that. You know, like dogs do
Paid
that.
attention to my. Now I'm gonna wink at my dog.
Yeah, they give you like the little wink sometimes, that one-eye wink. And that's something that dogs do. And he challenged Thor right then and there. He was being Mr. Asshole.
He does two things. I'm gonna take my glasses off, and this is for the people that have tuned in on the YouTube. He looks at Thor,
Smiles.
smiles, gives him the wink, and then does the douchebaggeriest, worst fucking wave in the hit. Nobody waves like this. He goes like this. I'm gonna raise my hand up, and he goes.
Yup. Ooh.
I was like, who waves like that?
The killer that's won the battle. Okay, he had to go get some outside help to take care of that, because he was like, so he said, I won this round. I got you on this round, Thor.
When he winked at him right before Thor attacked him, I was like, what is that? And I had already thought in my head, attack this guy.
Just bite him.
Attack him.
So,
Yep.
so now this is where this movie gets unbelievable. As if it wasn't unbelievable enough as it is. He goes outside. He's waiting until late o'clock again. And he hasn't tied himself up yet. And the full moon is out again. And then his sister's out there, knowing that he's an axe murdering psychopath.
Yeah.
Right? And she sees that he's trying to chain himself up. This is when they do the reveal. I shouldn't have jumped to the transformation earlier. But and she's like, well, what are you doing? He's like, oh, well, now that you're here, I don't have to handcuff myself. And she does the tropes, and then falls right there.
Well, it was because the trees, they were coming out, the what do you call them, the roots. Because they haven't had rain, so she tripped on the roots.
She tripped on the roots. Yeah.
Makes no sense at all. I thought that you wanted to go out there to try to help your werewolf stuff so that you couldn't become a werewolf with the love.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't understand? So he says, I've been coming out here handcuffing myself, but I don't need to now because, the secret. But wouldn't he be handcuffing himself so he wouldn't hurt his family?
Yeah, well, he's already lost it. But at the same time as this is happening, what's going on, Deb? What's going on at the same time?
Oh, that's when the kid goes. He escapes from the house to go and get Thor from
These are the two most unbelievable things about this Aztec werewolf movie.
Wait, he didn't even like it at the dinner table. He was looking at his uncle at the dinner table like, I'd rather have Thor here than your ass.
Yes, because the kid knew what was going on. But here's the
he
two.
was like, come here, remember? He told him, come here. And
Come here, sit on my lap. Well, I was like, whoa, calm down, guy.
What? Why? How does that make any sense? Like, why would...
No, but here's the two things that really got to me. So he's in his room and he goes to escape from his room, right? And what does he do? He pulls out, this is 1996, right? This kid has like a $200, $300 Leatherman all-purpose tool, because it's not like now how you go to Walmart, pick one up for like $6. Back then, if you had a Leatherman, that was equipment, and I know they had money.
Yeah, look where they lived. They lived pretty isolated. There was a lot of woods out there. They were kind of roughing it.
Yeah. But then, so that was the one unbelievable part. The second part, I don't know if you noticed, and if anybody, listens this far into it or watches the video, go back to when he's escaping out his second story window. There's a ladder built into the roof that he climbs down the ladder. And then, okay, maybe they made it for him for his own little playhouse or wannabe treehouse type thing. But then there's nothing on the ground. He jumps from the second floor, just boom, to the dirt.
The grass was very furry.
Right. He has that ladder out there on this roof in case he wants to go out and look at the stars at night.
Man. Cobweb coming in with the logic. So then he gets on his bike, huffs it into town. And then something else amazing happens.
Wait. One thing about that roof, Deb. Could you wait? Can we get this in, Deb? Can you see him and Thor sitting on the roof together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he and Thor has his paw over his shoulder like this,
holding him back, making sure he doesn't fall.
Yeah. And then he's like, "You see that star up there?" And he's like naming the stars.
That's Ursa Major.
Right. So it's believable now.
Yep.
That's a canine star.
Yep.
See what I did?
That's Thor telling the little boy. Like, he's not telling Thor.
Yeah. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
So then he hoofs it into town, gets to animal control that happens to have 12-foot gates. I've visited family members in prison that didn't have gates as tall as this damn animal control did.
Well, do you know how high dogs jump?
Well, I know our dog, or our outside dog, man, we're not even gonna get into it. My father-in-law came over one day. He loves this dog. This is the only reason we hadn't got rid of this dog, because
he's attached.
He comes over to our house. He's feeding her, right? And we have to tie her out when he feeds her because she's heavy and she'll knock him over and all that, right? So he doesn't tie her out this one time and kind of trips him a little bit. He falls down onto his hands and knees. She runs, jumps on his back, and jumps over the fence. She like a
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that explains the whole escape plan.
That's probably why they had to have these 12-foot fence. Anyways, so the kid goes up to the lock because they've got these giant fences and there's a chain on there, and he grabs the lock and he's like pulling on it like he's gonna break it.
But didn't he have
He had the Leatherman, and I'm thinking, is he really gonna try to cut into this chain with the Leatherman? Nope, because here come the police because they hit the spotlights at animal control. And the kid says, "Oh shit!" Like this whole time he's like, "Yes, Mom. Where's my dog?" And "Oh, I'm so sad." The lights come on. "Oh shit!"
And he jumps backwards. And I'm thinking, okay, this kid's gonna run and hide.
And he hops up like 5 feet onto the fence, hoofs it over, gets over the razor wire, jumps in, and then he's just walking around. "Thor, where you at? Thor, Thor."
Because it was do or die. Because it was do or die. Because you know what they do with those animals there?
Yes.
They put them to sleep.
Yes.
So every minute count.
I would have taken them all out. Just like open the gates.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Just free to go.
Just go.
So he gets Thor out, right? And then they cut back to Mom. Mom's fighting with the brother. Well, not fighting. He's still transforming still. Mm-hmm. He's still melting with his Walmart CD of transformation. And then they cut back to Thor. And he's like, "Well, how are we going to get you out?" And Thor just hoofs it, jumps on some crates. For them to have 12-foot fences, why would they have 10 feet of crates on the inside?
Stacked up
right next to it in the shape of damn stairs. It's not like they were protecting the moat and had to go up on top and shoot crossbows at attacking enemies or anything like that.
A perfect escape plan.
Yeah.
The kid was like, "Shoot, I could have got in
that way."
He was doing it all the hard way. Thor just like, "Let me show you how it's done."
Thor was what do you call that when you jump on the...
He was Super Mario end stage flag, jump into the flag. That's what it was. It was a castle.
He went bloop, bloop.
Cobb, before we get to the end of this movie, have I skipped anything? Is there anything that you wanted to throw out?
No, it's because it's all unbelievable at this point. Because at this point, I'm up rooting for Thor. I'm screaming at this TV screen at this part of the movie. I'm like, come on, let's go. You know, I done woke my wife up. You know, we actually had to start the movie over because she wanted to see what was going on because she saw I was so hyped up. So we had to start it completely back over.
Good. So
I was rooting for him too.
Thor gets there and they start fighting. Oh, something else. I don't know how you feel. It's okay if we have difference of opinions or anything like that. But Deb and I do live in Texas, and we are very gun friendly, and I don't see how she's gonna tease this gun and have this gun, and then when she runs into the house and she goes to protect herself, she has to look somewhere else for the bullets. And put the okay, so safety for your kid. Yes, you don't want your gun and your bullets and all that together and all that. But if she's holding the gun like, ooh, I need to have this ready. I need to load it. Then put it where the kid can't go reach it. Go out, do your thing, and then if you have to come back, your gun's ready. So here comes a werewolf after, and she's still trying to load the damn gun.
I thought she would have loaded the gun earlier. I thought she loaded it earlier.
So when she took it out,
part of the movie.
She took it out and took the bullets out, but she never loaded it.
Yeah, she had.
What was the point?
And that was an irresponsible gun owner. She was sitting there, look, as I had my wire cutter. She had the gun and she was like, I'm holding it. I'm looking at it because it's a tool, lady. It's not a whatever. It just use it as a tool. You know. I don't know. I'm mad.
No, and then wait, and then here's the thing. How the run when they escaped down the street, and Thor's just running down the street, you know, in the middle of the goddamn street. Trucks are coming at him. They're moving the hell out of his goddamn way. Okay. I've never seen anything like this before. Here's this dog running down the middle of the street in the middle of the dark. And you're like, oh shit, he's gonna get hit by a car. No, these motherfuckers moving out of his goddamn way.
Yes.
Okay. And the fact that they were able to get there to save her in that amount of time. From all the way downtown. I mean, this transformation was that long that they were able to escape from the town, run down the expressway a couple miles to get home, to get to this battle, this epic battle that we've been waiting for to pop off between Thor and Uncle Ted.
Go ahead, Deb, before I get into it.
He probably had like a shortcut.
Motherfucker, Deb. That's what I was gonna say.
He had a shortcut back.
I was setting up this line. I'm like, I know where Cobweb's going with this, and I'm gonna be like, no, sir, Cobweb. You left out a very important part of the movie that this is the hero. This is Thor. He had a shortcut. But Deb, you gotta steal my thunder.
Well, you saw how fast he jumped over the fence.
He had the power of. He was running down the express. I get cringe when my dog gets too close to the street. This dude is running down the middle of the street.
He's very smart and fast.
Swift.
On my notes.
He left the kid behind.
On my notes, he's like, bye.
He's like, I'm out. Thanks.
I have exclamation points. It says, oh shit, climb the fence. And then it says Thor left his ass behind.
He did. He's like, I'm up. I'll catch you on the rebound.
Now, I don't know if you want to go back and check it out, but the music when Thor, they're doing a montage of him running back, taking his shortcuts and all that. The music was very Mortal Kombat like 11. Like very good. Like there was some production like put into the music of this one scene, even though it takes them 5 minutes to get there. And then I have, how you gonna have a gun and no bullets? Ham, no burger.
Ham and no burger. What good is it, right?
Oh,
so even though after she knew that her brother killed his,
she should have had the bullets.
She should have had the bullets in the gun.
Going back to wrestling, did you notice as soon as Thor gets there, And he opens the door like, yeah, I'm here. He runs and he jumps at transform Uncle Ted. Ted grabs him and Alabama slams him onto the ground. And Deborah's like, no, Thor. I'm like, what do you think the werewolf's going to do?
I was like, Thor's stronger.
So, but he slows him down enough for her to load the gun. Mm-hmm. He stands up. Werewolf Ted turns around and she shoots him 8 times with her revolver. Now, there are some 8-chamber and 10-chamber, very small caliber handguns. But the shells on this thing, I mean, it was at least like a 40, a 357.
They were pretty big.
She unloaded 8 rounds straight. There wasn't any camera cuts or anything like that into them. Then they go upstairs. I don't know how they went from downstairs kitchen upstairs. And Thor and Werewolf Ted roll out the window where the ladder's at, where the kid jumped out earlier. Right? They fall from the same spot. Now, I understand one's a dog and the other one's a 8-time shot werewolf. But they fall from where the same kid jumped 10 minutes earlier, and then falling off that roof took them out. They're just both laying there just like, oh.
That was an epic battle. That was an epic battle because Thor was whooping that ass.
Yes.
This dude was a werewolf, but he could not fight Thor on Thor's own ground. Okay? Thor was so invincible to this werewolf that this werewolf was nothing compared to with Thor's ability to protect his family.
Yep. Can you hear our dog barking?
No.
Yeah, she's on Team Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kicked his ass.
So then it's now all of a sudden it's morning. Right? And they're in the middle of the woods and Thor's just all busted and beaten and bloody and all that, tracking Ted. They cut to Ted and he's just butt naked holding his junk laying against a tree.
Devastated from that ass whooping.
Just ripped open. I'm not trying to say nothing, but if your face is torn open and your eyes torn open and you have all these, I mean, he was just ripped to shreds. You're not going to worry about holding your junk with one hand in front of a dog. Well, no, maybe you are. Maybe you're worried the dog's going to bite it. I retract my statement.
Right.
You know,
if you're going to take me out, don't take me out like that.
Yeah. And he looks at Thor and he's like, do it. Just do
it. Thor's like,
that was so ballsy. That was like something like, come on, you got me. You know, it was like, I concede to you, you got me, man, you got me. You know, he admitted that Thor whooped his ass and finished him off. Finish me off, Thor. Finish me off.
So we had the trope earlier of the tree measuring guy. And then we have the transformation of the wolf, the curse of the wolf, and all that made it a horror story. This next scene is what finishes the movie as a horror story. Thor's there. He's dying. Mom and Brent are there, hugging him, touching him, petting him, right? And what happens? This jump scare that makes Deborah literally jump, almost throw her soda all over the room, because here is a now instantly transformed, looking like one of those hairless cats, but werewolf-sized dog. Is a dog wolf, a were-dog.
I was like, what do you call it?
A were-dog?
You know, that hurt my heart.
It was a Thor wolf.
And
I was like, no, not Thor. No.
I told Josh, so if a werewolf bit a dog, would it turn into a werewolf?
Then we got into this Resident Evil.
That's what I didn't understand. I didn't understand.
We got into a Resident Evil discussion of the dogs turning into zombies. So, I mean, what if a werewolf bites a dog and at night it turns into a human?
He's all on to his 2 feet. He turns into a lawyer at night.
So, but it was just a nightmare. She wakes up and Thor's there with her and Brent's there with her and it's a happy, everything's good and perfect.
She wakes up, Thor has a cup of coffee waiting for her.
See, that's what she was waiting for. She was waiting for that were-dog.
Thor's back to his doing his thing.
Yeah. Happy story. It's over. Just unfortunately, douchebag uncle had to die. And
Right.
Flopsy had to die. And they had to trim the sheriff's eyebrows. But that's it. So, the end of the movie. Almost the end of our discussion. Deborah and I have already gone and given our opinion, our counts. Let me ask you, as I go over here and get my calculator going. Oh, popping up on the wrong side of the screen. Sorry about that. Deb, you first. Do you remember what you gave it?
Yes.
What did
I
you
gave
give
it a 7.
Yes. Cobweb, what do you rate the movie?
7.5.
Oh.
See, this is not going where I thought we were going to go. I give the movie a 6 because as much as I'm bitching and complaining about this movie, I like this movie.
I enjoyed it. It was very enjoyable. They kept me going. I mean, it wasn't like a super blockbuster. It had its flaws, but I was entertained.
Yes.
It was 2. I was happy that Thor escaped.
Yeah. The clutches of stupidity.
So we give it a combined 6.83.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. But yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty fire. Me personally. It was good. I mean, yeah. It was cheeseball, but you know what? It was good cheeseball.
Yes. Going back to what we said about, not every movie has to be The Conjuring. Not every movie has to be Sadness. Not every movie has to be The Exorcist. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the break from reality of watching a cheesy bad horror movie.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was gore. The kill scenes were pretty horrific. That was pretty hardcore. I mean, there was some decapitations. What else do you want?
Yep.
That's horror.
But yeah.
And there was a werewolf.
I did have a question.
Oh shit.
So when Thor saw the uncle for the first time as a werewolf, what do you think he was thinking? Because he had a.
Well, and then that's when they're showing the glitching also again.
But what was Thor thinking?
Thor was only thinking, I got to take care of my family. That's it. That's
Right.
all. Thor was all business.
This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. That's what Thor was thinking. This is going to be a problem.
Yep.
I'm going to have to handle this. Sooner or later, I'm going to have to handle this. It's going to come down to me and you.
And they both looked at each other.
Oh, how did we forget?
What?
How did we? Oh my God.
What did we forget?
After Animal Control takes Thor away, after the douchebag waving, he goes to the backyard, pulls down his pants.
Oh yeah.
Uncle Ted pisses on Thor's doghouse.
Oh my God.
That's why he killed
Honestly, I never saw that part because I was still upset
him. About the whole.
About him
when
taking
they
him
took
away.
Thor away. I was so pissed off. I was upset. I didn't even remember seeing that part.
I picked my fist up at him.
I was punching the pillow because I was pissed.
He walks up to the doghouse, takes his pants down, pees, and does a like, yeah.
I was like,
That
wait
makes
until
it
Thor
even
comes
worse.
back. He's gonna make you pay for that.
Yep, he pissed on. Oh yeah, I do remember that. You pissed on my territory. Now I'm pissing on yours. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's all I got for this week's episode.
It was a good movie. I liked it.
I enjoyed it a lot too. You guys got to. If anybody out there watch it, it's really good. I would definitely recommend it. Some little bit of lighthearted stuff, but I mean, take it as a grain of salt.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
All right, y'all. So this has been Bad Moon from 1996 here on Cast of the Pod. I enjoyed it. Deb enjoyed it. Cobweb knocked it out the park with this pick. And that's all we got. Anybody got anything you want to throw out there?
Cast of the Pod is where it's at. Hit us up. Give us a like and a love, because we're going to show you nothing but love.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, so till next time, all the social medias, Cast of the Pod, Cobweb 411, Deb, Mrs. OMG. I know I should have yours memorized, Deborah, but I don't. Yours is complicated. And then mine's Old Married Gamer. So until next time, y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.